Garrett Soldano is a chiropractor, small business owner, a political newcomer. Garrett Soldano owns and operates the Soldano Family Chiropractic Center in Kalamazoo. He and his wife Jennifer raising two boys, Jack and Alex. He is clearly associated with my friend Jeff Cawley because Jeff has been persistent in saying, you got to talk to this guy. He's running for governor. You got to talk to him. So now we're going to talk to him because that's what I know. Besides the fact that he's a chiropractor and he's all those things I said, he would like to be our next governor. Garrett Soldano, welcome to the Paul W. Smith Show at WJR.
Thank you so much for having us on, Paul. I appreciate it.
Well, it's my pleasure. Tell me and my listeners about yourself and why I'm hearing from more and more people that we need to get to know you.
Well, those are my grassroots warriors, and what we have behind us right now is a movement, and this movement started almost 2 years ago, Paul. You know, when the governor started hammering down with us on her unconstitutional executive orders and telling us what we could and couldn't buy. You know, we could go on a kayak, but not a motorboat. But God forbid you touch that gas station pump handle, you get COVID and die. So when she started to bring that hammer down and extended the state of emergency, I, like many Michiganders, were waiting for somebody in a position of power, somebody that we voted into office to stand up and say, hey, this is wrong. And nobody was. And so what I decided to do is I said, you know what, I have to get something off my chest. And so I made a Facebook group called Michiganders Against Excessive Quarantine. And I went on there at 3:36 in the afternoon on April 9th, 2020, and just did a video venting my frustration with what was going on. And that group grew to 300,000 people in a little under 3 days, which allowed me to understand that I wasn't alone, and that there are a lot more people out there that were frustrated with this, and we just want some common sense solutions with not only governing our states, but also our country, which we're not getting.
Well, I take from the bio information that I have in front of me that you were so successful with Michiganders Against Excessive Quarantine, you caught the attention of Facebook, and kind of as a badge of honor, they canceled you. They shut your group down. You were censored.
You know, that is exactly right. Our group grew to 400,000 people in a little under 4 weeks, and that is when they canceled it. They shut it down, saying that I was advocating the spread of disease, and all I did was I did a Facebook Live at Carl Mankey's barbershop. And the funny part about it, Paul, was ABC, NBC, CNN, Fox News are right behind me doing the same thing, reporting the same story. But they clipped me and said that I was advocating the spread of disease because I was outside informing the movement with what was going on. And just like that, 400,000 people got canceled. We had over 16 million engagements. That's comments, that likes, in 4 weeks. And so what we did is we reestablished ourselves, and I co-founded Stand Up Michigan with Ron Armstrong. And we led the charge to take away her executive powers from that 1945 law with the Unlock Michigan petition.
All right. Well, clearly, Garrett Soldano, you're not happy with what our governor has done, and you fought that in a variety of ways. And now the latest way is to say you're going to run for governor. So we hear what you didn't like, and you can talk about whatever you want, but how about telling us what you do like and what you would do or want to stand for if you did get elected governor of the great state of Michigan?
That's a great question. And here's what we need to do, because if we look at what has been happening in the state of Michigan, there has been a mass exodus of people leaving this great state, even before COVID. Businesses, families, everybody's been moving out. So the number one thing that we need to do in the state of Michigan is we need to make Michigan free again. And what I mean by that is to make sure that no governor can ever do this again. No governor should ever be able to weaponize the health department. Because we have to move away from thinking that there is a silver bullet with dealing with this pandemic. We need some common sense solutions with how to deal with this, and bringing down the hammer and doing these mandates and doing these lockdowns and making these kids go on virtual online learning again is not the solution to this. So we have to bring the people back into the equation. We need to get some common sense solutions, but we need to make Michigan free again. Because who in their right mind would ever want to come back to the state of Michigan with the threat of being locked down, with being, if you're a restaurant owner, only allowing 6 people or 25% capacity, what our nanny governor did to us last year at this time. So we need to inspire people to understand and know that this is, number one, a great state to do business at. This is a great state to raise your family. And so we need to do that, number one, because if we start to do that, then businesses are going to come back here. And with those businesses come jobs. And with those jobs come families. And these families are going to come back and they're going to buy real estate and the property taxes. So it's a trickle-down effect that works. But right now, we still have a mass exodus of people leaving. And so we must inspire people to understand that this is a great state for you to do business and raise a family.
So you want to, in your words here, make it a more business-friendly state, a government of the people, for the people, and I appreciate all that. Let's say that somehow, miraculously, all remnants of COVID are wiped out in the next year or two. Then what would be your platform for being governor of the great state of Michigan, besides making sure that Michigan is, you put it, free again?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. So number one reason why we lost those jobs to Kentucky and Tennessee, I think 11,000 jobs, was because of what? The number one reason was energy. We have to start bringing some common sense into this and start investing into our energy infrastructure of our state. It makes no sense to just solely invest into solar and wind. They can complement, but we have to continue to do common sense solutions moving forward. That is gas, that is nuclear, and having other energy options so we can make energy cheaper, because this is all going to hit everybody, and all those tax-paying dollars are the people in the state of Michigan going to get hit in the pocketbooks with the energy that the energy crisis that's coming into fruition here. And so once we start making energy affordable, that's going to allow these businesses to say, hey, we can get back here and we can start to get manufacturing jobs and we can start opening up businesses, and it's a little bit cheaper. So I'm all about President Trump's America's First agenda, but I'm about Michigan first. It's about putting Michigan ahead because we're competing with the DeSantis's of Florida, the Abbott's of Texas, Kentucky, Tennessee, all these other states. We need to put Michigan and the Michigan workers first, and we need to start a business revolution to get people to come back here. Another thing that we need to start to address is this school situation right now. Look, this is getting out of control, and I have been motivating and inspiring our movement right now to get engaged with the school boards. We do not have to wait for the next elected official to get in. You can take the bull by the horns and start showing up at these school boards and demanding that the school board follows through with what these parents want. And the majority of these parents, they don't want segregation taught in schools. They don't want CRT. They don't want division. We want unity now. You teach our kids math, science, the right history. And the right history is, yes, you do talk about the scars in our past, because those scars are there to teach. Those scars are there to teach us to never do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So we must get involved with the school systems. And the biggest thing that's happening right now is Governor Whitmer put us in a mental health crisis. Right now, the statistics show that Black American children are twice as likely to commit suicide than white American kids. Young girls, the suicide rate has went up 47%. And what we continue to do with these kids is we're canceling their experiences, their opportunities and dreams, while all the other states are doing this the right way. But these Democrat-ran states right now, New York, Michigan, California, continue to hammer down on these kids.
I think we get the idea, and we're out of time. Dr. Garrett Soldano has raised, they say, over $1 million since he announced he was running. I'm sure we'll hear from him again as we continue on WJR.